Hello! We are starting back in with Covenant Rank 1. We went through our tutorial last time. It took us a good 2 hours to kind of talk through the basics of the game. We don't have to do that this time. You guys know everything there is to know about Slay the Spire. Nope. Monster Train. This is Monster Train. This is Spire-like. I'll get it right eventually. That's fine. I've played far more of this game than I have of Slay the Spire, and yet because I played Slay the Spire first, it's kind of stuck in the head. That's okay. Monster Train, great game. Love the UI. Gonna gush about that a little bit. Right here on our run starter, this is a screen that we did not see before, so I will talk through it really quickly. As far as really quickly goes for me. I also noticed in reviewing the last video, I was playing with my beard and it makes noise, so I'll try not to do that this time. We'll see how well I do. Nervous tick. Anyway, primary clan is the clan that you get a champion for, and one of the two sets of cards that you'll be getting upgrades for and new cards for. You can choose which of your clans you can play, or you can just say random. When you choose, you can choose primary or exiled. We haven't unlocked the exiled yet, so right now there's really just two choices. If you want to choose to be awoken, you can choose to be hellhorned or random. Since we only have two clans unlocked right now, if we actually choose either of these, your allied clan is technically not random, even if you say random, because you can't have it be the same thing. You can't have Hellhorned plus Hellhorned. You will have two separate clans. So if we choose Hellhorned, we will get Awoken as our allied clan. If we choose Awoken, we'll get Hellhorned. Vice versa. Normally speaking, though, once you've unlocked all five, it can be useful if you go, you know, I really want these cards to be available in my run, but I don't really care about what the others are. You can leave one random and set the other. Covenant, also, as we go up through, if you're familiar with Slay the Spire, you're familiar with the Ascension levels. This is a very similar concept. Covenant levels stack on each other, and they add additional modifiers to your run. Generally speaking, making it harder, although I will say that Covenant Rank 1 in many ways actually makes your deck better. And the reason is because it adds additional random cards to your starting deck. Now, the enemies are stronger does mean that, yes, you'll take more damage, but being able to immediately get 5 additional cards, and it's 5, so you get three types of cards, 2 each of the first 2 cards and 1 each of the third. We'll see that in a second, but getting 5 additional cards is although random, so you don't pick, it's an immediate boost to the power of your deck, since these starter cards for each clan are considerably weaker than any of the upgrade paths that you'll find. Finally, there's the ability to add mutators. If you want to just kind of have a fun run, you can do things like give all the enemies googly eyes, or randomly auto-select upgrades that happen on your cards, or things like that. So some of the things are neutral or beneficial, and other things actually like make it harder, where maybe all your units or all your cards only have 1 upgrade slot instead of 2. Things like that. We're not going to do any of that. We're, for now, going to focus on going up the Covenant chain, trying to get to 25 as quickly as possible while mastering as many cards as possible. Once we do that, once we want to look at our logbook, we want to get, on our run summary page, we want a 25 under every one of these flags. We want to win on the primary and secondary. We want to gold back on all cards. We want all the expert challenges done. I think that kind of covers, generally speaking, what we want to do. Because of the nature of things, we will do random on everything until we get to a certain point. For expert challenges, we'll probably start those random, and then once we kind of see how they go, we'll choose something so we can get through it. And then also, if we see a flag that's underrepresented, like maybe we just never get Umbra Melting Remnant together, we'll just manually select that so that we can fill out that banner. Or if we're starting to run low on, like we've mastered all the Hellhorn cards, we can kind of skip doing Hellhorn runs for a while so that we can master the rest of everything else. That being said, we are still very early, i.e. the first real run of the series, so let's get right into it. Okay, here's our summary of the run. We can look at all three of the bosses. So we see Talos is the other one. So we saw Daedalus in the first time. Talos is the alternate boss. There are both different bosses and different abilities. So Talos has a couple of different abilities that she can have. In this one, she gives her friends are enemies, Rage 2, and she gets armor if she kills anything. Fel is going to be our second boss. That was the previous second boss as well, but it's a different version of Fel. So last time it was giving us Scourge cards. This time she's going to give things armor, and those guardians that sit out in front are going to have spell shield, 5 actually. 5 spell shields, so anything that hits the frontline unit as far as a spell cast is not really effective in that fight. And finally, Seraph the Patient, which is the alternate third boss. And this one is going to attack every turn and apply melee weakness to the front unit, which is really dangerous. But we should be okay as long as our deck is constructed well. We're starting off with a pretty interesting rage-based bonus here. So applying Rage 10, very expensive card, but very high damage potential. That's 20 damage on your first turn, and then 18 and 16 and so forth because it decays. Then this also adds Rage. So we have the potential of stacking Rage, kind of like we were stacking Rejuvenation last round. And then we have a couple of Steel Enhancers. I would have preferred to just have one, but it's fine. We'll take 2. We'll make our champion bigger. Also note that our starting deck is a little smaller than last time. Instead of 5 Restorers and 5 Torches, we have 3 and 3. We'll be getting back to, by the time we hit Covenant 25, 5 and 5 again. We'll get primary and alternate clan cards kind of shoved back in. But they remove 4 of those at the beginning here because they're shoving 5 other cards in. That being said, we still have 4 Train Stewards. Okay, this is the bonuses that I was talking about in the first run. So we will get 1 artifact to start with and 1 upgrade to our champion. The champion chosen upgrade we kind of had going for us last time. It just chose the multi-strike for us. We did not start with an artifact though. So we will be overall at Covenant 1 versus the tutorial victory. We're going to start off stronger than we did last time, which is cool. You can do these in either order. I like to look at one or the other because neither of these is an option that you can back out of. I like to look at one or the other depending on which primary clan I'm looking at. I think for Hellhorn it doesn't matter too much, so we just go ahead and do the Dark Forge first. Okay, so Reaper is something that we did not see before. So we saw Wrathful 1, we saw Brawler, which is what we actually took all the way up to Brawler 3 before. Reaper is interesting. Reaper gets that slay bonus that we saw on an artifact, except that with this one, it is just the champion, not all your units, and it's a much higher amount. So that bonus changes from 10 to 20 to 40, I believe, at the third option if we take all 3 of Reaper. And his basic number also goes up by a lot. This is a really, really cool ability, and if we have a frontline unit that can tank for him, can make the Hornbreaker Prince one of the highest base damage dealing units in the game. It's just incredible. Wrathful gives us the ability to make him a frontline unit. That's not nearly as important with Awoken. I find that Wrathful is pretty cool when you're playing some of the other clans that don't have as many frontline units attached to them, but I think Reaper is a pretty good option for us here, so we're just going to take that. Okay, and knowing that we have that, we can choose to not really gain a current bonus and take an extra upgrade slot on our units, knowing that later on we can make them stronger, or we can sometimes kill off a unit when they enter our terrain. Now, this is a trap for this specific run. I do not want Infused Mallet, and the reason is if I kill a backline unit that my Prince would have otherwise killed, I've deprived myself of 10 damage going forward. So yes, I will have gotten rid of a unit to make it like slightly easier for that floor. But as those floors keep going up, you want that champion getting stronger and stronger and stronger and killing more and more and more things. So there really is only one choice here. Okay, we immediately get trials. Again, this is different. This is also going to make our run stronger overall. However, it's very important to note that giving the enemy spikes 3 could very well kill our champion because he's only got 6 health, no armor. The armor was based on the upgrades that gave him multi-strike, so he's got 6 health and that's it. But we have ways to get it back. We got a couple of restores, we got steel enhancers. So I think we're okay taking this trial, and the 75 coins is just really useful. It's just really useful. And if we lose, we lose. Okay, so these guys entering with Rage means that they'll do 5 damage per hit. So if we put this guy down here, he will immediately get torched. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to put him up here. And, that's the other really nice thing. We can give him Inflame, and now he has armor. We do not have real frontline units, so our frontline unit is a Trainster. That's fine. Okay, that's unfortunate. Our Collector is in the back, so we can't kill it. Full stop, we can't kill it. And we don't have a torch, so it's pretty much just a sad day for everybody. Steel Enhancer goes here. To be perfectly honest, putting out 2 Train Stewards doesn't do much, and I'd kind of like to be able to redraw them to put them back in front when this guy inevitably dies. So we're just going to Ritual Battle right there. And now he is a very, very angry boy. We don't want things getting to the top, so what we're going to do is we're going to torch a couple of guys here. So now everything dies. Cool. And that dies there. We didn't want to kill more than 2 because this guy will kill 1 of them. And we want the Slay bonus. Again, Slay bonus is important. So our order there was to kill 2 guys here so that everything dies on the top floor exactly with him killing the last one. And then start on the next floor. We'll want to kill 1 more of these guys as well. Actually, 2. Can't. That's okay. Well, we can kill a total of 2. That's fine. Because if we restore health, then what's going to happen is they'll do 3 damage in, and then he'll still kill himself. We're not really worried about how much damage. Like he's our Hornbreaker Prince has 66 damage incoming, which is going to go to 74 because he'll lose a stack of rage, but get 10 health or get 10 damage from killing something. So we're going to pretty rapidly destroy this chains guy. Yeah. I'm not too worried about putting another Ritual Battle. I think I'd rather save myself effectively 4 hit points because it would only do 1 damage to the core, but then the core hitting it also triggers spikes, so it would take those 3. We are going to take damage though, so we'll go from 80 down to 76. That's okay. That purge needs to go. This Train Steward needs to show up. Let's get rid of one of these guys, and then Steel Enhancer that guy. And we're in super great shape for winning without a hitch. Let's get rid of that. And, I don't know, we do that and not even lose a unit. Doesn't matter, but it's cool. And sometimes cool is worth it. Okay, so we have a lot more money to work with. We have 175 coins. That's great. We could take we could take damage. No, well, I mean, yeah, obviously our power could take damage, but we could pick up a horn break. That's not awful. Is it awful though? We kind of like slay bonuses. Sometimes there's going to be more than we care about though, so I think we'll take one. Okay, let's grab a restoration detonation. We need a big heal spell. This is a big heal spell. It's fine. Okay, frontline units. I think we would prefer to have an awoken frontline. There are some frontline Hellhorned units, but it's a little harder. We also have better spells than we do units, so I'm pretty okay with going ahead and taking an Awoken unit, not upgrading it immediately, but getting some upgrades on spells, because we have good spells. Oh, sweet. Okay, so we can play some of the same stupid games, or we can start doing things with a Thorned Hollow. Now, the Thorned Hollow will make it to where a Hornbreaker Prince will occasionally just not kill things. So maybe we just do the Awoken Hollow. It's a delicate game to play where you want the Hornbreaker Prince to get kills, but you also want to clear a floor, and when there's like 4 enemies on a floor, it's hard to choose whether or not you want to just kill 2 of them or have spikes kill the whole lot. It's hard to pick sometimes. So plus 10 is useful on any of these 8 spells. It turns Torch into a real spell. It makes Hornbreak really useful because then you can kill backline units through the entire game, and you can even kill with piercing. You can kill the those big shielded winged dudes that have like 10 or 15 health and like 100 armor because it goes straight through armor. So like, it's really good. So 10 magic power is great. Restoration detonation is probably our strongest place to put it though, because A, it's a bigger heal, and B, that turns into a 100 damage spell because it does 5 times the amount healed. So as long as it actually heals for 20, it'll deal 100 damage to a unit. So it's multiplicatively scaling in a game where multiplicative scaling is king. Really, I mean that's the name of the game. If you can multiplicatively scale, you win pretty hard. We also have the option of doubling one of these things. So I think getting Rage 8 and Armor 10 is really good. And then we will make it cheaper. So it's back down to 2 cost, but now gives us almost as much Rage as this thing, and armor, and costs 1 less. So like Inflame is now a super better spell than Battle Rage. Battle Rage, that being said, it's had 2 upgrades put in it, so like we can make Battle Rage good as well. We could put double stack and -1 as well, so it would still be a 3 cost, but then it would give Rage 20. Might be a thing we look to do later, but for now, getting the additional armor is something we value for our Hornbreaker Prince. Giving our enemies armor is no problem when your frontline unit does as much damage as it does. So he starts off dealing 25 damage, and I'm okay with it. So that's going to deal 15, he'll take 3, and that deals the other 25 to kill. We can also use this to knock out the spikes. So we will get a slay bonus on this guy, and we are off to the races already. Let's give him some extra health to start with, and we'll put a Train Steward up here. We want to start remembering to put a Train Steward or something up in the top every time. In this covenant it doesn't matter. Later on, eventually, we'll get to the point where one of the covenants puts Dazed, which doesn't allow things to attack on the first turn. And if the Collector shows up top, often you won't necessarily have like a damage spell on your second turn. So being able to have something up and ready to go for the second turn, so that if the Collector spawns up here, you can whack it, is fine. And then even your middle floor, if that's empty, but you've killed everything on the bottom floor, nothing has gone up there, and then you've got a Collector here, and you can just put a new unit and kill it anyway. So that's kind of just a small optimization to make. And then whether or not you put your sort of kill floor on the bottom or higher is really just dependent on how your deck works. Because we want Hornbreaker Prince to scale as fast as possible, having him get kills on the bottom means that he'll scale damage faster. It does mean we have to be more careful about the Awoken Hollow and making sure to keep it alive. But beyond that, that's it. Oh, hey, look at that. So here's our example. We have a couple of options. We can either put a Train Steward there. We could torch it. We put a Train Steward there and torch it. We don't get to play our Ritual Battle, unfortunately, because we want the money for this. We could put a Train Steward up top and then torch that. Which is not a terrible option because anytime you're stacking units on the same floor, again, that's scaling. And scaling is the name of the game. Let's go ahead and remind ourselves to do that so we don't forget. Let's just go ahead and torch that so we don't forget. And yeah, we'll just go ahead and stack that floor. That's fine. And the reason you want to stack a floor is so if there's healing that happens, so for instance, if I had a Train Steward here, one Train Steward here, one Train Steward there, and I did 5 damage to a unit, and then it heals for 5, I've done effectively 0. But and then it goes to the next floor, and the same thing happens. I do 5 damage, it heals for 5, nothing happens. But if I have 2 guys there, they'll do 10 damage, and it only heals for 5, and it's actually down 5. So that's better. Rage 8, Armor 10 is technically more damage than just giving us 2 more health. So we're going to do that, even though it costs us being able to play a Restore this turn. Also, we can then Restoration Detonation to blow the heck out of that front guy. Full stop. Now everybody lives. Now we live even more. We're done. Also, we didn't kill that top guy. It doesn't matter because he doesn't get to the pyre unless we didn't kill everything down here. But we did. Okay, so Hidden Passage is an interesting card. We haven't talked about it yet, but one of the things that you can do when you're ascending or descending units is overload a floor. Normally speaking, if you look at a unit, this thing takes up 3 capacity, this guy takes up 2 capacity, so just putting these 2 guys on a floor means that floor is done. But what you can do with something like Ascend is put these 2 guys on a floor, and then ascend other units into the floor behind them. And then your floor is super full, and will, again, with the way scaling works, does more damage per incoming damage. The downside of that is it's another card in the deck. The upside of it is it allows you to do some interesting things. The other downside is that if you want to be continually replacing units on a floor, like if you some decks actually want their units to die, that means that if a floor is overloaded, you can't manually add more things to it. You can also only ever have 7 units on a floor at a time. So even if you're like manually pushing things in there, you can't put an 8th unit in there. It won't accept it. We don't have 8 units, and we will not have 8 units probably even by the end of this. So that's a fairly attractive option, actually. Vent does damage to the whole row of the enemy units, at least, not yours. It's our first X cost. What X cost cards do is they use up however much extra energy you still have. When you cast it, it will drain you all the way to 0. You can't choose. And it does an effect based on that. So in this case, it does 2 times the amount of Ember in terms of damage. It's a pretty weak card. It is not bad, but it's not exciting. Molting Imp is also not exciting for us here. I'm pretty happy to just skip here because we don't have anything that I care to ascend. So I think we skip. Okay, we can apply spikes, or we can restore units to full health, or we can restore 2 health and deal 2 damage. Since we already have a restore a certain amount of health and do damage, I'm not as excited about Glimmer. I also feel like Unleash the Wildwood is a little early. The cool thing about it is that's worth 60 health if you play it on the Awoken Hollow. The bad thing is if you do that, Restoration Detonation doesn't do anything your next turn because it has to actually heal in order to do damage. It's not like Rejuvenate where the bonus is there regardless. It only does the amount of damage equal to the amount healed. Which if it's 0, then it does 5 times 0 damage, which is 0. So because we have Restoration Detonation, it kind of feels like we should either skip or take Sharpen, which feels bad. That just feels bad. No, I think we skip. I think we skip. I'm going to stop crying about it. Steelworker's fine. Demon Fiend is super cool, but we can't play it. We don't have 4 energy. That being said, our deck is probably strong enough to... Now, that would be where we take the Ascend and push the Demon Fiend in behind the top floor. But that's not where we are. We could take the Steelworker, have the insurance of having that as a front line. I like taking a Demon Fiend and saving it for 1 round. I mean, our next fight, we can just pick up energy. We were probably going to pick up energy anyway because we've got some pretty expensive spells. We've got Ritual Battles that we can't cast most of the time. We've got Inflame that costs us a lot. So we're probably going to take the extra energy, at which point Demon Fiend is technically playable. Let's start. And we're mostly full on health. We got enough money that we can make some spells better. We could do things like make Ritual Battle cheaper. We could do things like giving restores +20 and consume. We could do things like maybe giving Restoration Detonation holdover so we can just cast it every round. Those are all pretty good. Those are all pretty good options. The health doesn't do anything for us. Hellvent allows us to duplicate a card. I think we would duplicate Inflame. We could duplicate Restoration Detonation. Don't get as excited about that, but it's something we could do. But the real strong unit thing is that we get another unit. And right now we have exactly 3 units that we care about, so getting another unit is not a bad choice. So, as usual, let's go to our plus scales. We get a +1 on the Merchant of Magic for making this cheaper. We get another +1 if we were to roll it over and do it again, or a +1 if we would put holdover on this. So either way, it would be a +2 total. And that's a +0 because we don't care about that. Hellvent is a +1 for Restoration Detonation. Good card, but not enough to push it past that. And a unit is probably a +1 or 2. So we're pretty close to the same either way. What might push it one way or the other is this Concealed Caverns. There's types of events that allow us to duplicate cards already, which would kind of push Hellvent down. There's also events that give us more money, which would allow us to do more with the Merchant of Magic. So that pushes it this way. However, there's also events that let us modify units. And since we have only 2 units that we care about, it's possible that this would give us the ability to care more about affecting whatever unit we get from here. So, what do we care more about? I think because both of these do something, I'm just a little more excited about getting more units. However, let's go ahead and look to see how many other guaranteed units are. Because again, we can get units from, like we'll get unit from the battle here at Talos. There's a Hellhorn banner here. And that is it. So there's only one more guaranteed Awoken banner, and that's the one that we're at right now. So let's do that. I would like to have about 5 units. Okay. Animus of Will has really strong interactions with Steel Enhancer. in the same way that our last run did with multi-strike, because it's got multi-strike 2, so that's 3 hits. So each time we add it +3/+3, it's really adding 9 damage, so that seems great. Let's do that. And because we can come back to this Hell Vent, let's go ahead and see what Concealed Caverns has for us. Penance Yard, okay. So, this allows us to get a couple of cards that are big nukes. Purge gets it out of our deck, and then we have an artifact that does nothing. We can get Deadweights, which are just cards that you draw and they don't do anything, but all of our units will get +6 attack, which notably helps a lot with Animus of Will. He starts off at a 9×3 instead of 3×3. That's actually pretty good. And then this allows us to heal ourselves a little bit at the cost of more energy every turn that we have to, well, not every turn, but whenever we draw those Vengeful Shards, because we'll get 3 of them. We'll have to kind of get rid of those or take damage, and they cost us draws as well. That's the other, so these all cost draw, and this costs draw and energy, this costs draw and energy, this doesn't cost any energy, and just gives us some stuff. Or we can just leave, we don't have to take any of that. I think we're strong enough that we probably want the stones. Alright, and at that point, because we got that, I'm tempted to duplicate Animus of Will. But I think that might be too much, because we don't have anybody to stick in front of a second one. So eventually I'll be able to stick a Demon Fiend in front of one of the Animus of Wills. I can stick the Awoken Hollow in front of our good friend, the Champion. Although later I may switch that up and put the Awoken Hollow in front of the Animus and put the Demon Fiend in front of the Champion. It doesn't matter. Real question here, do we want double Inflame? Do we want double Restoration? Six of one, half a dozen of the other? Okay, here we go. Alright, she empowers units with Rage 2. That means we'll probably want to set up top so that we don't die. It's all there. Alright, we got our Demon Fiend. We can't play him. Let's give him some armor. Let's put a Train Steward out front so that when this guy comes up, we'll have somewhere to go. So we can go there. Currently going to die. Let's put him there. Towards one of these guys. Cool. So both of those guys will hit them, and then this goes into that. Unfortunate, because we would like for somebody to go up for Hornbreaker Prince to kill, but I think for now we're just going to be content with him whacking Talos for 45 damage. Oh, BKB. Let's get a Train Steward. And crud. I think we're just dead there, so that's fine. Let's get rid of one of these guys. So we just take a little less damage. And then at that point we'll just get him out of the way. Whatever. Okay. So we either how much damage do I have coming in? 7, 14. I can get up to exactly 14, so he's just dead. Okay. That is unfortunate. So I have one unit now. Them's the breaks. That's what we got. Alright. Good luck, guys. That doesn't matter. Yeah, so our big problem there is we never got to our restoration detonation before taking too much damage with our Awoken Hollow. Sucks, but nothing you can do about it. So instead we're just gonna play what we can, get this guy as much armor as possible, and hope for the best. Some of this is also showing up because we specifically did not take a unit that was playable. So we could have taken, playing with my beard again, we could have taken the Steelworker, and that would have been another frontline unit that we could have put in and actually played instead of having to just sit there and draw. So that's, you know, maybe a lesson learned. We might still make it through. We're gonna kill that guy, and we can give ourselves another 10 armor, which is actually enough to kill. So we didn't lose. Yay! Yeah, just barely. One hit shy. Alright. Wildwood Tome is going to give us quick attacks on our Hornbreaker Prince. That's worth a lot. So we're going to do that. I'm going to take a unit. Consumer of Crowns is here to taunt us. So this is a really interesting unit for Imp decks, because when you have a lot of imps in play, he's free, and he's 100 attack damage plus 40. He is very, very hard to put in play. None of these are things that we really care about right now. We don't have the space for them. We don't have the... we could take another Demon Fiend, but I think we just don't. We definitely need that. Alright. So now we get the choice of going ahead and starting to remove things and picking up an artifact, or upgrading our units that don't have any upgrades in them. I am pretty excited about both of those. We have a lot of money. I think I'm a little more excited to trim... Is that true? I think I'm maybe more excited if I've got the opportunity of doubling up somebody. So Hellvent is over here. I probably won't care about that, but we'll care about the Merchant of Magic. Got an Unstable Vortex coming up, so that's good. Then we'll probably swing through another Merchant of Steel here, or maybe, we might go there. So we'll probably hit the Merchant of Steel now, because we might not hit one until pretty close to the end. So yeah, let's do the Merchant of Steel here. Take the money, that's always good. We'll take the health now, that's good. Upgrade the champion, that's good. We can make him a little harder to kill, or we can make him bonk really hard. I like that. That's a good idea. Endless. Endless is a very fun and not always useful thing. 25 health is always good for the Awoken Hollow. We're just going to do that without thinking about it. Putting Endless on something like this would be terrible, because then when it dies, like, what do you do? However, when this guy gains 60 max health and then comes back, he would have another 60 max health, so he would start off at a, I don't know, 100 and something. So that's pretty appealing, honestly. That will just get 10 damage for him, because that's super amounts of scaling. Reroll and do it all over again. Large Stone is cool. Large Stone is hard to use. So Large Stone, if I do it on Animus of Will, means that it can't sit behind the Demon Fiend. Ouch. But that also brings us to a 2843. I also can't put it on Awoken Hollow, because then, again, can't sit in front. We're going to go ahead and do it, because then it's kind of a self-tank. And then we'll give it... No, we're going to purge instead and get rid of a train steward. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And the reason to get rid of a train steward here is, again, just to clean up how much we're drawing and not playing. We want to get rid of our train stewards. We want to get rid of our torches. Our rejuves are fine. Interestingly, we could have our Animus of Will tank for the Hornbreaker. I don't know that we want that. 6, 12, and 7 is 1925. We can solve a little bit of that by doing this. And we can do that. Everything's dead, which means we can put him up top and not worry about taking damage. Okay, let's see what we get. Cool, we get a bonk there. Good. If I put the Awoken Hollow there, he will get bonked. It's unfortunate. It's okay. Yeah, I'm okay with that. We just start playing our units in places that make sense and don't worry too much. So if that guy goes to the top, he's going to hit the Awoken Hollow. The Awoken Hollow is going to hit back, and I still won't get a kill bonus, so I'd rather save myself the 7 health twice. I can go ahead and start stacking Rage on this guy because he's doing the damage, and just worry about making him huge through Rejuvenates. Because actually our multiplicative scaling is in favor of this boy. So we'll just do that. Only take 1 real damage. We can also do effectively no damage by doing this, and this, and this. So we just get angrier and angrier. We don't have to kill with our champion, that's fine. And making him quick means that we take even less damage, so super great. Let's go ahead and double scale that guy, and let's go ahead and burn that thing down, and now we actually take no damage. Put the train steward out front just in case. Firing on all cylinders. Good, good, good. Anyway, you just unlock Stygian Guard from playing lots and lots of spells. Okay, we win. Yay. It's not really surprising, ultimately. This guy is very, very strong. He's not going to win us the run. That was super unnecessary, by the way. We already won on this floor, but that's fine. Yeah, doing 105 damage 3 times. I mean, we've seen that already. That was good enough to kill Seraph. And we're nowhere close to that. Yep, we just unlocked a clan. We've got 2 in Flames. We don't need a 3rd. We don't need Rage Serum. We don't need Pyre Chomper. We've got enough. Yeah, we've got enough energy. The Demon Fiend is not doing us any favors right now, but it's also not really hurting us. Our bigger deal is just getting the Awoken Hollow out at a time and in a place where the Hornbreaker Prince can shine. And we can't really guarantee that Pyro Jumper shows up on a turn that's useful, because I mean, he could show up on the same turn where we have like 2 Restores, a Steel Enhancer, and a Torch or something. This doesn't do anything. We could apply Quick again. So we've got Quick on Animus of Will, really, most of the time. We could put Quick on any of our other units, like the Hornbreaker Prince, like the Awoken Hollow, like the Demon Fiend. Focused Growth is another big heal spell. We only have 1 big heal spell. I feel like that's kind of nice to get a second one. We also have Restore and Retreat, which allows us to overstack the bottom floor while healing our dudes. That's really pretty appealing with the kind of stuff we've got, because then we can put like Awoken Hollow in front of Animus of Will, in front of Hornbreaker Prince, in front of Demon Fiend, or vice versa, or whatever. That seems pretty good. It also heals a little bit, so sure. It does two things. This does two things. It also draws us more cards. Let's go. Okay, we want to get rid of stuff and upgrade our magic, so definitely doing this side. To be noted, that's useless to us because our higher health is full again, and don't really have any cards we want to duplicate. So now that we have Restoring Retreat, we extra don't need the Train Stewards. So I think we just get rid of 1-on-1 with the torches, kind of back and forth that way. 10 magic power is great. So we do that in two different ways. Get double stack cost +1. Could do that with Ritual of Battle. We can also skip for now. -1, I think we put on Restoring Retreat. And then we might want to wait to put Holdover on it. So I think we skip doing more there and just maybe make Hornbreak do more damage. Now the double stack is something we probably have to think about. If we do that, Ritual of Battle will always cost at least 3, if not 4. But it becomes a spell that we sometimes want to cast. The other thing we can do is look to get rid of it. Right now we need to get rid of 2 torches and 2 guys, so that is 2 more vortexes. We will not get a vortex here, we will get a vortex here, and we can get a vortex here. So we can right now exactly get rid of the cards that we hate. Meaning that we could spend money to get rid of a Ritual Battle of 2. So making one of them worth casting, probably worth it. Okay, Permafrost is cool, but ultimately not helpful. Which is fine. Let's make that cheaper. Got 170 left. Let's get 10 more magic power. Let's put that on one of our restores. We'll make it restore a legitimate healing spell. And then we will purge our other Ritual of Battle. We really don't need 2 of those. And the important thing there is that we can at least cast Torch when it shows up. And it does something sometimes. We can at least put down a Train Steward and get it out of our deck. A 3-cost card is so hard to play unless it's actually worth doing. So I think that's actually a worse card at the moment than our Torch, even though the effect of it is so much better. So them healing doesn't matter if they're dead. We just have to make sure that we actually kill things. So, you know, duh, but also, you know, it matters. So we can do a couple of things here. I think we can play all of our cards. We can kill one of the units with Hornbreaker, and then one of the units with Hornbreak, one of the units with Torch. That leaves 1 extra unit, which will then murder the Hornbreaker, unless we put Animus of Will in front of it, which I don't really want to do. I want to put Animus of Will behind Hornbreaker. So instead, what we do is we put Animus of Will up here, put Hornbreaker Prince here. We go ahead and kill 2 of these guys off. Then those 2 guys are going to come up here, and then hopefully by then we can put our and we're gonna make it fast. Hopefully then we can put a front line in front of it. And usefully enough, we get our Extinguish guy up there, and we get our Open Hollow. Great, cool. We can't cast our Demon Fiend this turn, so what we can do is go ahead and do our Restore. Get this guy out of the way because we don't care about him. And honestly, we just start Steel Enhancing this guy because of the ×3. Giving him more health doesn't matter a lot. Because if he dies, he's going to die anyway. Okay. So, if we kill one of these guys with Torch, we will take more damage on our Woken Hollow. But we can kind of mitigate that with getting other pieces to it. So right now he's taking 19 damage. Now he's going to take 21, but we can mitigate that by a tiny bit. We could also inflame it, honestly, to give it 10 armor. That's not the worst idea. It's also not necessary, and I think it's far more important to inflame this so that when these guys get up to the next level, that's going to be 8 damage. Every time these guys die, all of their friends get +2 attack. And so making sure that he doesn't die and has the ability to do a little bit more damage with that rage, 53 times 3 is enough to kill one, and then 2 times 53 is enough to kill that guy. So little micro optimizations here and there. Okay. So we can Restoration Detonation here, which will kill that front guy, and then 2 of these guys die, no problem. So we can go ahead and do a Restore here, that's great. Let's go ahead and Steel Enhancer here. And honestly, we can save ourselves basically all of the extra health by just letting that guy tank a little bit, so that's fine. Cool. So Restoration Detonation is here. Now we can choose to just take 6 damage and go ahead and push this guy down, or we can hope that no, it won't come back in time. So this is the only opportunity to do it. We could hope that this is enough damage to kill everything, but I don't think it's gonna be. So either we do the Restoring Retreat now, or never. Like literally never. I'm a fan of taking 6 in order to pretty much guarantee victory. I think this gives us the absolute best chance of just killing everything. Okay. So Demon Fiend is not going to come back. But what it does do, since this starts off with 8 stealth, it will cost several turns worth of Demon Fiend just getting pounded. Gives us some time. Yeah, so we burned 4 of those stacks off, and we win pretty handily. That's pretty nice. Cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then crush it. Oh boy. Alright, so our sting spells, which we have 0 of, are going to be better. So we can take the 25 coins, or we can use that as an impetus to go ahead and get a sting spell if it comes up. It doesn't hurt us to have the trinket, and I don't think the 25 gold is enough to push us into any sort of point that we care about. So yeah, we'll just take it as insurance, that's fine. These are not bad, but they're also not crazy good. We have another way to boost our Awoken Hollow. That being said, I don't see us needing that as much as we did last time. I mean, Engraft could be good. Engraft could give us the ability to kind of boost through an extra Cultivate here and there. It's just not a high-value card. I have better cards. I'm just gonna not. Okay, so let's get some trinkets going here. Trinkets give us the ability, so we already saw one of them that makes your units -2. That would be super great to get, because then we have the ability to actually like drop Demon Fiend whenever we want instead of having to wait. So I think that's our biggest priority if we can see it. When you summon a second unit, gain 3. That's also really good on like the first 2 turns. We have Ascend or Descend, but that's mostly going to be used for friendly units, so I think we just take Hellspanners. Gaining 4 stacks of armor each time it's applied is good. That's going to not double stack here, but it's still good, so we're going to get armor 14 off of that spell. We don't quite have enough to pick up Guild Marker and Railhammer, because 25% off of this is not enough to bring it under 100. That being said, we can get a Railhammer and a Purge. And I think +4 armor is actually pretty decent, because we're going to be casting Inflame like a lot. Once we get it down, we're drawing Inflame basically once per turn. So every turn getting an additional 4 armor. It stacks up pretty fast. I like that. Let's do that. And at that point, we can choose to purge a card that we don't care about. We can go ahead and get rid of a torch, which means that later on we'll be able to knock out 1 additional card of our choice. Or just not be as beholden to... well, you know, we don't have to care quite yet. We could just let it go through the fell fight, knock out a torch and a guy there. We do have the unit upgrade thing, so we probably want to go here. I think we just bank the money and then spend it on upgrades or trinkets. Buying that purge feels good now, but I don't think it's required to let us win. Okay, so we need to play our units first, and once we play our units, we have the ability to do other things. Demon Fiend is not our important player, so we can put him down here. We can put Hornbreaker Prince up here so he can start working on that thing. And then I think we just give him Rage 20. And then he immediately gets a stack. Okay. We have done this in a way that allows us no flexibility on where we put units. That is unfortunate. I should have put them on the second row down here. And then I could have put a Woken Hollow in front of it, put Animus of Will up top, and then dropped Animus of Will on the next turn. I didn't do that. So, instead, what we do is we go ahead and put a Woken Hollow here, we put Animus of Will here. Make him bigger. We'll let him tank. We got our Restoring Retreat, so now we can move him down one. Cool. We can also... He's still alive, that's fine. I don't want things going up and out. Okay, so I think that's obvious. This is less obvious, but I think giving him the ability to not get blown up next turn is probably worth it. Other than just the idea of just giving this guy more and more rage is funny. Let's do this before I forget. And then this is good. Cool. So I take net no damage and clean up for next turn. That's cool. I'll go ahead and make this guy quick so that he can start going, kill things faster. And we will go ahead and give him a little bit of help here. Give him a little bit of help here. Bonk, 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 bonk. Lots of bonking. Okay, we got our restoring retreat. There's 3 waves left. On average, I will maybe draw it again before it matters, but probably not. 152 damage is enough to take this thing out, so I can do that pretty safely. I can do that pretty safely. This floor is probably enough to kill by itself. I've got 59 health, and that thing's going to hit for 20 damage a turn. That's 3 turns of doing 156 damage. No, that's not enough. It's not enough, because it'll have like 600, 800. Oh, I might have 1,000 health. I'll take the 4. That's fine. I'll take 4 damage. It's worth it to me. Then we can pretty easily just do 2 damage. Oh, it's got 1,300. Yeah, hey, look, I can actually see how much health it's got. Ow. Okay, so he's going to go bonk, then he hits for some piddly amount we don't care about. Can we do anything cool? We can start stacking rage. I can take the 2 damage. Yeah. I don't have to take the 2 damage. Take no damage. And then I think I just put rage 20 on this guy because reasons. Burp, burp, burp. I cannot believe this thing made it all the way to the end. That is fantastic. Okay. Continue still enhancing this guy, even though, yeah, we like our champion, but this guy's going to do more damage with that. Times 3. Same reason we will also inflame it. Same reason we will restore this thing. Could restore this and get an extra turn of 50 damage. Just do this. Do 2 damage to boss. Okay. Oh, hey, this gives us an opportunity to Restoration Detonation and actually do 100 damage to the boss. At actually 156, because then you'll have 20 more health. So that's extremely effective. No damage is being dealt here. That's great. Armor 14 gives us another round that's 50 more damage. That's like 100 damage per turn. Oh my goodness. I'm so angry. Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's exactly what we want. We want to do a lot of damage. That's how we do it. Oh. So spreading spores is an interesting way to add regen. So we don't have a way to add regen right now, so that is the only way we've seen. That's pretty appealing. We also have the ability to potentially add reinforce and then like remove consume, so we can just like double on top of that. But I don't think we're winning with armor. I think we're winning with super bonk damage from these two. So I think spreading spores is a way for us to keep our front line alive long enough to do bonk. Yes. And at that point, probably another energy gives us more flexibility. Well, okay. Where are we going next? We are going to a Merchant of Steel next, so we're going to upgrade units. Oh. Do we never upgrade our magic spells? I mean, we don't really have to upgrade our magic spells. If we don't upgrade our magic spells, we want the energy. Stands to reason. That is a choice, though. We could go like one Merchant of Steel here or here, and take the Merchant of Magic and Concealed Caverns. These units do both have an extra upgrade slot for them, though, so let's do that. Let's do that first. Let's just make our units as good as possible, and then if we choose to go to somewhere that's not that later, we can. So while we're thinking about it, let's get rid of our last 2 torches, because the train stewards are easier to get rid of. Merchant of Steel. This guy is going to be freaking massive, and that's okay with me. I'm second guessing myself now. Why am I second guessing myself? Oh, because I can't put him on. No, I already couldn't put him on with literally anybody else. But that only really adds 15, so let's put it on Demon Fiend. And then we could do 5-10 on Animus. Ooh, I might be able to get another. Nah, no. We get another 25 on Awoken. We're not really using the Endless Piece here, are we? C'est la vie. We want him to not really die, so. I could refresh and do one more upgrade, but I think then it would just be sad. Because I'd be spending 70 to do a cheap upgrade, so let's not do that. Slaying getting armor 14 seems pretty cool. Slaying getting 40 seems cooler. Alright. They restore all their health when they go up. If we're not killing them in one shot, we're not doing our job. Alright. We can play all of our units this turn. And if we do play both of our units, then we can play all of our spells too. I think we go for the same Animus of Will up top, Hornbreaker Prince here, do the damage there so we don't get bonked, and then we go ahead and get Rage going here. Let's see, that adds 20 damage, roughly. 16 damage. We might be able to get to the point where we get yeah. Because if I go quick there, I can maybe get. Okay, no, we're good. So this goes here. That will give me 3 back. So I need to put him out next. Then I can resto debt. Then this bonk happens and kills. And we're golden, which means I don't have to inflame yet. So I can restore and retreat. And now we are immediately set up for kills. I can kind of forget about restoring retreat for the rest of the game. Well, I can just use it on the bottom, that's fine. We'll start doing... We're going to get one of those purges per turn. Nothing doing. It's just going to happen. It's fine. But we can start stacking regen, which is bonus damage. Oh no, train stewards. Well, train stewards can live up top, that's fine. Alright, so we can choose to take 5 damage so that we can get this rolling. He's going to bonk for a lot. I think that's obviously worth playing. Let's just not have that happen. Once we get to a certain point, we won't need to worry nearly as much about these other bits happening, because this guy will just be angry enough that it'll just do the thing. He can bonk super hard, so that's fine. Or I could there. That's a word. If I do this here, I can pierce here and then rage here. Nice. That's sort of expected. More rage. Okay, do I have a breakpoint here? If I go 79, that's actually 3 hits. Yeah, sure. Okay. That's 71 bonus damage versus dropping this guy down, which would be like 30 damage. Plus 7 movement anyway. We get a spreading spore in there, get a regen in there. That makes him huge. Cool. Bonk. Good. That's how we want to do it. And get our 400 bonus coins, and none of that. And ooh, that is our second big heal spell. That may be enough for us to really push into not going to the other unit store. I think our units are strong enough, so the only other units worth upgrading. So let's look at the map again. So Pyro Remains don't need, we're max. Units, how are we always maxed on health? That's fine. Unit upgrades only go on one demon, and then we can get rid of our 2 train stewards. Those are pretty easy to get rid of. Hellvent actually allows us to duplicate a good card. Merchant of Magic Lesson, yeah, we're doing that. So let's go to Awake, because at the very least we can make it cheaper, even if we don't get a double stack mod for our other one. So this is a good spell. Yeah, I think that's good enough to take. And then we'll go this way. Money first. Let's look at the trinket store just to see what we got. 1 per stack of spikes. We have no spikes, we have no rooted, no money in the first turn of battle. We don't really need that one, that's fine. Okay, so let's upgrade. 20 magic power and consume. We can now very, very safely do that here. Can I get rid of it? Let's make this level 1 less. That's cheaper, that's good, that's great. And remove consume, cost +1. Making things fast always looks fun, but it's not really necessary. 20 magic power and consume is fine to do here on the restore. And then -1 on spreading spores or Awake. Probably spreading spores so that you're encouraged to actually play it at some point. We'll come back. Actually, we don't have to come back because this is all That's done. We can purge from either store. So we can now go to Hellvent and say, what do we want more of? It would not hurt us to have an additional Animus of Will. It would not hurt us to have an additional Inflame. It would not hurt us to have an additional Awake. Those spells are all very good. It also wouldn't hurt us to have an additional Spreading Spores, although I like the addition of having more Animus of Will. It's just 33 times 3. Even if it never gets upgraded, that's just 100 damage per turn. That's never bad. Gives us an additional chance to kill, but I think I'd rather take our chance on being able to get 2 things. Oh, spells consume have a 50% chance to be discarded. This would actually be armor 9, I think. I think that actually is armor 9. So let's do that. And then the ability to conserve between turns is pretty cool. Because it means that if we don't spend all our stuff, we can spend more later, and then we can purge a card and then get rid of. So that's a bigger heal now, so that's cool. Really, we don't need to get rid of anything except for train stewards. That feels very nice. And we could also get rid of, honestly, we could get rid of Steel Enhancer, but it's fine. It does a thing. It makes us hit for 9 more damage every turn. Okay. So, this is where it gets tough. So we want to not summon on the floor that has this guy as much as possible. Like, it's going to happen, but avoiding that is generally the play. We don't have the ability to kill anything with Hornbreaker Prince this turn. Don't know that we can. So he's going to live, that's fine. Really hurt my chances here. I did not want all my units in the first turn, but that is the hand we were dealt. So that's the hand we're playing. No sense in crying about it. Oh, no. Okay. Alright. He wasn't going to get the kill anyway. Let's avoid further entanglements. So our endless on that guy is not really helping us much, but at the very least we can kind of boost him up to his maximum potential health kind of as fast as possible. We have the possibility of getting a kill. So 21, 116, that's a kill. We can guarantee the kill if we do this and then get quick next turn. And then we start, you know what, let's go ahead and do this twice for him. Cool. Let's make him last one more turn. Oh, no. That didn't work. Okay, that's fine. Consume goes here. Cool. He's going to bonk real quickly. Then that guy would take 17. That's not bad. Okay. Let's do it. Train Steward. Oh, no. It's fine. as long as he doesn't die. Okay, so we bonk there. He's going to take double of that, so we can get the spreading spores going here. Let's go ahead and start stacking rage here now. Ouch, 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 ouch. Ouch, 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 ouch. Can you not be there when I play my animals, please? Dang it. Okay, that's fine. Cool, do that. Oh, he still dies. Yeah, well, that's fine. Spicy meatball. Okay. Here is the interesting decision point. So we can restore and retreat the top guy, but I actually kind of like him being there so that he can kill that guy. And then we can win without having taken any damage. So I think maybe our question is more just where we put these things, and then we don't restore and retreat. It's fine. Okay, bottom floor is lost. That's fine. Spreading spores, very neat. His initial bonk is going to go there, so we can go ahead and horn break. Saves us a huge amount of health there. And then we can inflame this guy. Okay. Good. Get this guy pulling in there. We can bonus heal there. We can make this guy do some more damage. We're good. Very nice. Okay, GG. We got a nice solid victory in. Stacking a floor, you can see the power of that, being able to overload with the amount of damage going out while minimizing the amount of damage coming in. We got some big heal spells. We got a little bit of armor. The armor didn't actually do anything for us. We were consistently putting armor on our back line as opposed to our front line. That's fine. What that meant for us is that we didn't have to worry about our front line dying and then immediately losing everything else. Yeah, good solid victory. And we will finally unlock some card decks. Add deadweight to your starting deck. We saw deadweight already. That's the thing that gave us additional attack power. And we've mastered a bunch of cards. We'll see exactly how many in a second. And we unlock some cards. And when you hit 5, you unlock the alternate of your clan. So now we have 3 champions available to us. 4, actually, because we unlocked Stygian Guard in the same run. So we didn't really have a totally diverse deck. We had more Awoken cards than Hellhorned. The way I like to play the game, that's not unrealistic to see. I think healing is just a fantastic option whenever you have Awoken. The ability to stack those cultivates can really lead to some very high damage numbers, which wins more often than not. You can see we got we were at like 35, 37 the first time, and we summoned more units this time somehow. And we killed a little more than 100, so yeah, we're still pushing forward on Umbra faster than we are on Melting Remnant, but they're both progressing forward at a reasonable pace. All right, GG for this one, and we'll catch you for Covenant 2.